Hi, I realise it's been a while, one since I actually uploaded on this channel, and two since I actually sat down and spoke to you guys like this instead of just putting out a vlog. So I thought the best way to get back into everything, seeing as it is the 28th of December 2019, would be to sit down and just review 2019 as a whole, because it has been a year. 2019 doesn't just seem to have been a year for me. Most people I speak to cannot wait to leave 2019 behind. It seems to have been a strange year for everyone. But I thought I would go through month by month and talk about every single thing that happened that seemed to make me happy. I've gone through my Facebook and I've gone through my Instagram, and there are some weird and wonderful things on there that some I even forgot happened. So yeah, let's just go through month by month and see where we end up. I have my laptop here with a notes page open just so I can actually remember what I did and on what date, because like I say, some things on here I can remember happening but I couldn't remember when, and I was like, wow, was it that early in the year? So yeah, my trusty little laptop's here. So January started strong, and I can't even say it fell flat, it just, nothing else really happened, which is fine. It's January, nobody wants anything to happen. But January of this year started really high with a poster or picture being released from Stranger Things announcing that the new season would be back on July the 4th. And I can remember that made me kind of squeal with excitement. That night as well, Luther started, and that was a long awaited season by me and my mum. How did we feel about it as a whole? It wasn't my favourite series of Luther, but it wasn't terrible either, so I'll take it. February seemed to be a busier month for me. It started on the 8th with me and my mum going to see Boyzone, something I'd wanted to do since I was younger. I can always remember my mum going to see Boyzone when I was little, but she'd never let me go because I was too young. But then took me to my first concert not many years later, so I don't understand the logic there, mum, sorry. So yeah, when Boyzone announced their goodnight and farewell tour, I bought us tickets and was determined we were going. So I finally saw Boyzone at the age of 25, and it was wonderful. On the 21st of February, we also celebrated the very first Mental Health Nurses Day. Yes, that is my job if you didn't know. So we have Nurses Day, but it is nice for my own branch of nursing to be recognised. So yeah, we finally celebrated that for the first time this year. In February as well this year, it was announced that Keala Settle would be joining Hugh Jackman on his world tour, which was amazing news, and I think everyone who had tickets anyway just became even more excited. So yeah, that was really nice. And on the 28th of February decided it was ending on a high. We all got the reunion that nobody realised they needed, and the Jonas Brothers came back on Carpool Karaoke and announced they were reuniting. I can't even say I was a Jonas Brothers fan back in the day, but I was excited about this. March became a bit of a busier month. On the 15th we had the Game of Thrones trailer for the last ever series, which is just crazy to say, and I can remember the trailer building a lot of hype again. I can remember sitting down, I can remember watching videos, just trying to pick out every detail of the trailer and just work out what the hell was gonna happen. It happened. March 14th, I got my first tattoo of 2019, and I finally got my Peter Pan scene tattooed on my right thigh. I've had this drawn up for a while. Well, I'd had the image in my head for a while, and I wanted to make sure my first Disney tattoo was special. Paris, the girl who did it, just made it exactly how I'd envisaged it in my head and better. So yeah, I was so happy with that. On the 20th of March, we got the trailer for Stranger Things, and oh my god, I can remember being super excited. I can also remember being really annoyed because the dates just didn't add up at all. Well, it did, but Stranger Things season 4 was released on the day we went on holiday and had no access to Netflix, so I had to wait an entire week and avoid spoilers. On the 29th of March, I killed two birds with one stone and finally took my mum to see The Ladyboys of Bangkok while being invited as a blogger to review it, which was actually my only blog event of this year, which was fun. Very fun actually. It was really interesting, really enjoyable, and I happily would see them again. So yeah, that was a fun month. April was another month where nothing really happened, and I'm not really sure why. On the 7th, we kicked it off with a local Comic-Con. We went as a family, so it was my mum's first ever con, which was interesting. My brother was in full cosplay. I was in cosplay, but it was a kind of cosplay that I'd just thrown it together in a week, and it was, I had this, I didn't want to buy a new outfit, and I went as Negan without Lucille. So yeah, Walking Dead and an easy costume, simple. On the 15th of April, Game of Thrones, the final season started, and I can remember the hype in my house being something else. we were all off that day, and it was a case of it's 9 o'clock, sit down, shut up, watch for an hour. And that was kind of how it went for the entire series. May was the busiest month of my life, and I'm pretty sure that was the last vlog I uploaded on this channel, so you can probably tell why if you've already watched that vlog. May started for me on the 4th with the release of Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, and the Ted Bundy film starring Zac Efron. Ted Bundy's always been the serial killer that interests me the most, so I had that set up to record a week in advance, and boy, I sat down and made sure I watched that before anybody else had anything to say to me about it. On the 4th, I also saw Catfish and the Bottlemen. That was an experience. Catfish were very good. It's an experience I'll never be repeating again in my life. The crowd were awful. Never in my life have I been in a crowd where flares been lit inside. People are just so inconsiderate, and 90% of them are probably the people that would have bullied me at school for liking this type of music. But here we are. The 20th of May was the last ever episode of Game of Thrones. How did we go from the April the 15th to the 20th of May? Yeah, so I definitely gave my initial thought in my vlog. Maybe one day I'll actually sit down and do a full review and thoughts video on the final season of Game of Thrones. But on the 22nd, I started the busiest week of my life, and I got my left thigh tattooed, which was my Mickey with all the different Disney characters in. Which, according to you lot, was my most liked photo of 2019 on my Instagram, so thank you very much for that. I was meant to be going to Slam Dunk, however I fell and hit my head, so I came home and rested up, because on the 27th me and my mum finally saw Hugh Jackman, which was amazing. And if Hugh Jackman wants to do that tour again every year for the rest of his life, I would definitely be there every single year, because it was just something else. And if you were at the Birmingham matinee show on the 27th, then you'll understand that John from Bicester Village is the best person on the planet. Now, this was something I totally forgot and didn't realise had happened so early on in the year, but James Corden announced that the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special was a thing. If you remember this photo where he just posted a picture of the script, the hype was real. I'm surrounded apparently though by people who don't seem to understand my love for Gavin and Stacey. So from that photo right up till Christmas Day, I've had no one to talk to about it, and it's really, really annoying. So if you're a Gavin and Stacey fan, please leave a comment down below so we can discuss just everything, please. On the 28th as well, me and my mum finally were able to reveal to my grandma that we had bought her tickets to Rod Stewart for her birthday. My grandma's always been a massive Rod Stewart fan. I saw he was on tour and thought, hey, he's someone I'd like to see before it's too late. 2 birds, 1 stone. My grandma really enjoyed it, and it was actually a really good night. June was a little bit of a quieter month for the first few weeks anyway, and then on the 19th of June I saw Westlife for the 20th anniversary tour, which was amazing. Again, something that wasn't meant to happen. I didn't initially buy tickets, nobody had come with me, and my friend was selling tickets. So me and my mum ended up there, and it was amazing and so much better than when I saw them when I was younger. On the 20th, because apparently I like to plan things all together and don't like sleep, we then saw Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat for the first time this year. It is not my first time seeing it. I love that stage show. However, it was the first time for my mum and my grandma, and they both thoroughly enjoyed it as well. So that was a nice thing to do as a family. On the 25th of June as well, me and my friend finally launched a book club that we had been doing kind of between ourselves for a couple of months, but we finally launched it into the big wide world, and we finally have and now run a book club in our local area, so that's been fun. July was a big month. July felt like a month where I finally grew up, and that is really scary. But more importantly, July the 2nd, apart from me, my dad's birthday and my parents' wedding anniversary, was the day that Yorkshire Tea dropped their Do It For Yorkshire advert with Sean Bean, and as a girl from Yorkshire, that is the best thing that has ever graced my telly. Just saying. On the 4th of July, I grew up and became an adult, and I actually bought my first car. Well, I'd bought it a couple of weeks before, but it was delivered and I could unveil it to the world, and it's so exciting. On the 6th of July, we went on our family holiday to Mablethorpe, and it started with me and my mum going to see Westlife in cinemas in Skegness because we just couldn't get enough. And I'd just like to point out, this was my mother who didn't want to see Westlife originally. She would then drag me along and was like, can we book tickets to see them in cinemas? So, as well, on that family holiday, we visited Tattershall Castle. I'm totally saying that wrong, aren't I? Is it Tattershall Castle? I think so. Or, anyway, we'll just go with that. So that was good fun. So many steps. So many steps. We also visited a manor house because this is the type of family we are. We like to walk around and look at posh houses because that's never going to be us. And on the last day of our holiday, we finally, I've lost track of how many years we've been to Mablethorpe, but me and my mum finally hired a beach hut for the day. And it was amazing, but I got sunburnt mentally and ended up with the most ridiculous tan for the rest of the year that I still have and don't know how to shade. And then July ended on a high for me as my best friend from school got married on the 20th, and it was just amazing, but it equally made me realise that life is going by way too quick, and we are actually 25 and 26, so what's happening? August was another quiet month. I think this was kind of that mini stupid heat wave that kept coming and going and no one could be bothered to do anything, understandably. Peaky Blinders was announced as being back on the 8th of August. That wasn't the start date, but that was the day that the teaser picture, if I remember rightly, dropped. And the hype was real because I had waited so long for this season and I finally had another series to watch again. And on the 10th of August, we finally, for the first time, obviously I am 25, well 26 now, but I was 25 at this point, we finally booked our first family holiday abroad and we are going to crack out in February 2020 and I'm so excited. There will be a vlog on that, I promise. September was the month for me. On the 9th, it started straight away. McFly were dropping teaser videos and trailers and pictures left, right and centre, and oh my god, I just couldn't handle it. I was so excited. I waited so long for this moment and it's finally happening. And then on the 19th of September, I booked McFly tickets to see them in May 2020. So again, there will be another vlog coming on that. I promise, well actually no, I can't promise that the excitement levels will have dropped by then, but McFly are back. On the 21st of September, I took my dad finally as his birthday present to see Professor Brian Cox live. Neither of us knew what to expect and both of us walked out of there with massive headaches. It was amazing. Did I understand 50% of it? Probably not. But it was good, and Professor Brian Cox is a babe in real life just like he is on telly, so that was fun. And on the 27th, now this is going to sound really weird, like you watched a film, who cares, but on the 27th me and my mum finally sat down to watch Rocket Man and I slightly fell in love with Elton John, and this was where the Elton John obsession began. Probably many years too late, but oh my god, it's amazing and he is wonderful. Okay, how do I talk about October when October, quite frankly, was the shittest month of my life? And it starts being the shittest month of my life on the 12th when my 7-year relationship ended, and that's all I'm saying because I quite frankly don't have the energy anymore. On the 14th of October, not to be one to let life beat me, we went to Leicester as a family and we went to the King Richard III Visitor Centre, which was actually a lot better and more interesting than I had imagined. I didn't really know what to expect, but it was actually really good. We also went around Leicester, we went into the cathedral, and the moon was there because the moon was on tour, which I still don't understand. I got a pretty picture. Because again, me and my mum are absolute queens at never letting ourselves have a day off. We saw Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat for the second time this year. This time in Nottingham, the first time was in Derby. But it was the same cast and the same tour. And mum now has the Joseph bug and is determined she's following it around the country. So as much as I love it, pray for me. On the 19th of October, it was my 26th birthday, and what better way to spend your 26th birthday than seeing Disney on Ice, because yes, I turned 26 and went to Disney on Ice. Birthday's done right, thank you. On the 25th of October, I decided that life was definitely not going to beat me, and I finally applied for my Masters. And on the 31st of October, I received a conditional offer to study a Masters in Dementia at the University of Hull. So next year's going to be a bit stressful, but fun, I hope. November was the month where I started getting mentally political and realised that if I had not gone into nursing, I probably would have gone into politics. However, November the 16th saw me get my third and probably final tattoo of the year, and I got my flamingo to represent my balance disorder. Here's a proper picture rather than me holding my arm at a stupid angle. So yeah, I promise I will do a video next year explaining my medical condition and how it affects me and so on. On November the 17th, The Crown started and I finally had another series in my life to watch and catch up on, and I think if I'm being totally honest, with life and work, it took us 3 days to watch it all. We have an issue. On the 20th of November, my fangirl history nerdness became real, and I went to see Lucy Worsley with my mum on her tour, and I got to meet her, and she is just fabulous and everything you could dream of. And I think my face kind of shows my excitement levels. It was really good. And on the 30th of November, November ended high and gave us the Gavin and Stacey Christmas Day special trailer. And if I wasn't a fan of Elton John Step Into Christmas, I definitely was at this point. And then we got into December, and for the first couple of weeks it was really quiet. But then on the 13th of December, Britain went a little bit mental. And again, my politicalness came out headstrong, and I'm not even going there in this video. However, we apparently are not 26 anymore. I went to a house party on the 14th with some really close friends, and that was really good fun. And for the first time in a long time, I actually let my hair down properly, and probably let the last couple of months just fall off my shoulder. 21st of December will forever be known as My Chem Day, as My Chemical Romance finally reunited and played their first comeback show, and oh my goodness, I was a huge My Chem fan back in the day, and this show, like the snippets, and there is a full streamed show on YouTube, oh, it was amazing, and I have nobody to share this excitement with. So again, if you are a My Chemical Romance fan and need somebody to fangirl with, please drop me a comment down below. The 23rd of December celebrated the 100th year anniversary of the Nurses Registration Act, which is what is most commonly known today as the NMC, and it's the register that as a nurse I have to sign to be able to work and do my job. But anyway, that's a different story. So then obviously Christmas Eve, it was a difficult day for my family for personal reasons, but we cheered ourselves up by, as a family, doing our Christmas Day on Christmas Eve, because for my first ever time, 4 years qualified as a nurse, I was working Christmas Day. So it's been an interesting Christmas. So we opened presents Christmas Eve, saw grandparents briefly on Christmas Day after work, and as I'm filming this on the 28th, I will be going to my cousin's tomorrow for our third but first proper Christmas of the year, which is strange. So I will be filming on what I got for Christmas video. I'm just waiting till tomorrow, so I'll probably film that in the new year. So that was my 2019 as a whole. It's not ending how I expected. I don't think anybody could have wrote to the end of my year. But onwards and upwards, as they say. I cannot wait to get into 2020 and leave this year behind. It's not even a whole new year, it's a whole new decade. So let's reward at it and just make it better. There's been some really interesting things and really exciting things happen this year. We've seen Boyzone, we've seen Westlife, we've seen Hugh Jackman, we've seen Rod Stewart. So that was really fun. I have had a lot of TV that apparently I was really excited about. Gavin and Stacey came back, McFly came back, and My Chem came back. So it's been the year of reunions. I've met some incredible people. I have some friends that will definitely be coming with me throughout the ride. And if there's one thing I've learned this year, it's that the hard times really do show who your true friends are. So yeah, 2019, you've not been as I expected, but quite frankly, I can't wait to leave you behind. So yeah, I will now definitely, most likely, probably definitely see you guys in 2020. I hope you have a fab new year, whatever you are doing, and I will see you soon, and I promise, promise, I will be better next year. Bye guys. A lot of people aren't seeming to be looking. 2019 has been I don't even know where I am anymore. What's going on? It's just been a year for me. Sorry, there's a thing floating. On the 21st of February, we celebrated the very first Mental Health Nurses Day. On the 29th, May started for me on the 4th with the release of, oh Jesus Christ, what does my mum want? Okay, where were we? Peaky Blinders, what? That's coming out, that noise.